Doesn't actually want to fire. Oh, there we go. Okay, ladies and gents, welcome back. Another bit of an update on Satisfactory. In the last video we did, it was a little bit back there, we did a quick one on automating the Wii vehicles that you have, that you can set them up to, you can record a route, and we set up one to go to the fuel depot, pick up the oil and bring it back to this terminal here. Now, after the recent update, which happened, I think, not even a day or two ago, I think, we now have trains and obviously nuclear power, but I haven't unlocked that milestone yet. But anyway, trains are cool. Remember anyone ever as old as me and played on their Hornby train sets? Having the little train go around the track and loading stuff on it and shit like that? Well, this is cool. This is a little bit like that. All you got to do, you've got to lay your track down, obviously. And to lay track, you need to have your materials down here. You need steel pipes and steel beams. Now, obviously, if you're at this section of the milestone anyway, you'll have all that unlocked. And here comes the train while we're talking. You're also going to need an electric locomotive, freight car, a train station, and a freight platform. Now, this is going to be for each end. You're going to need two of these then, two of each. So here comes the train. And it's already been configured to pick up steel and to bring it here and to unload it. So it stops at the station, which is this section here. Pretty cool. Cargo container gets collected or picked up. Goes. Anyway, we'll come back in a minute. It doesn't take that long. It goes quite fast. Now, what you've got to do, you have to finish off your route. If you're only making one route, i.e., back from one section to another, and then coming back, you have to finish the loop here. So you have to finish it on both ends, so that the train can go forward all the way around back onto the same track. If after you finish your loop that you find that the train's going down the wrong section, then what you can do is you can just move these points over and it will go down the right way. So you've got to put your train in and you've got to put a freight car on the back of it. So the train has to be on the front, obviously, so when it's coming in, it's going to have to come in from that side over there all the way to here. This is the train station section of the build. This is the freight section, which are these two: train station and the freight platform. So once you have those two in at both ends, and your train comes in the right way round, your train will do its work. Now, what you can do is you can obviously go to the platform itself, to the freight platform. This one's unload, because obviously I want to unload all the stuff that it picks up at this section. At the other end, I'll click that one, so it's always loading everything that it has from that section. The unload conveyors are these two on this side, and the loading ones are on this side. All right. Now, on the train itself, on the train station, you basically configure the timetable. Now, when you set up your two stations, they'll both get names. I've renamed this one, called it base, so I know where it's going. And what you do is you add them to the timetable. So you click add, right? And then it will come up with the sections of the two stations. Obviously, if they're powered and they're working, it will come up with the two stations. You add them to the list. You put down which one you want first. And once you close this window, the train will start and it will go. Now, as long as you have power, because obviously you have to power station, this ring will actually power everything for the train as long as you have enough power to keep it going. Now, what it'll do, it will stop at the other section. We'll get on it in a minute, and we'll drive it, which is actually quite cool because it's like being on a real train. You know, it's actually very well done. The tracks work well. The bogies on the bottom of the train turn to the track, so it's actually very well done. It's even got those air brakes on the top, which actually work quite cool. But that's the train section anyway. Now the other thing that was also added is the this rebar gun. Um, you make that into your hub. Let's just get this train sorted first. We'll talk about the rebar gun in a second. If we don't take control of that train, it will slow down itself and park up. Nothing in there at the moment. And once it stops, we'll get in. Even the brakes go on and off like that. That's really well done. Attention to detail is pretty cool. There. Now, because we've taken over the train, it's not moving. If I was to get out, it would start moving again. But anyway, now, if we push the forward key, you can see down there the amount of power to speed up actually goes up quite a bit. So you need to make sure you have enough power to keep this going, you know? My finger here now, and it's gone up to 70 megawatts, 80, 90, 100. We're doing 90, 100 kilometers an hour. You've got to remember, you've got to be able to stop at the other end. This is quite cool. Listen to that. Now, what we'll do is we'll turn the audio down a little bit. Oh. It didn't stop there. So we've got to go forward. Always a good idea to start slowing down, you know? Got to go forward until we get into the station. And we're stopped. Now, as long as we're in the right area, the train will do its job and unload. You can see again, we have to have a loop in to allow the train to get into the station in the right way round so that the freight terminal's at the back. And then on you go. Once it's loaded up, we can go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the train do it. I'm just going to stand on top. So I'm going to talk about the rebar gun while we're doing this. The rebar gun uses these little things here. Where are they? There. It's baked rebar, and all that is pipes. So it's not too bad. Tubes or pipes, whatever they're called on the system. So you can make them on the thing quite easily, and it reloads one at a time. So let's have a look. If we just fire this. Oh, we can't fire it while we're on the train. Okay, well, I like the air brakes as it starts to slow down. It's cool. Now what we'll do is we'll get off here. Let it go into the station and do its job. Now, obviously, you could have more than one route. You could have it go to, I don't know, you can pick up steel like I'm doing over there. You could then take over what that truck's doing, go down that way, and pick up all the oil. You could put them all into the container, bring them all back here, and then you could use a smart splitter to send the two components to different locations. So that could be quite cool, you know. But the car's doing quite an efficient job there, so I'm going to leave it alone. There you go. Anyway, the rebar gun um, doesn't actually want to fire. Oh, there we go. I like how he loads it. It's quite good. There you go. That's the rebar gun. Now, the rebar gun you make at the hub, um, unlock it. I think it was tier, if I'm right, it was tier 3. Let's have a quick look, just to be sure. Let's have a look. I think it was tier 3. There we go. Rebar gun. That's what you need. You need 1,000 wire, 25 rotors, and 25 reinforced iron plate to unlock it in the tier tree. Um, these last two tiers, um, you can see tier 6 was the monorail that needed 150 heavy modular frames, 100 computers, and 200 motors. Now, I was producing most of this stuff even before the update was done because that was as far as you could go. So I had quite a bit of it anyway. And I've also nearly done the tier 7 and 8 uh, milestones as well, um, tier upgrades even. And most of the stuff is already in the space elevator. So I'm just waiting to make a few more heavy reinforced, what are they called again? Still trying to make some more there, heavy modular frames. And once I've done those, then that'll be milestone 6 and 7 done, or 7 and 8, sorry. I think what they do unlock is the nuclear reactor. So that's going to be quite interesting because the oil is actually need quite a lot of them to keep this place going, you know. And if I mess up on the oil, everything shuts down. But yeah, so there you go. Those are those two things. Now, making the train isn't that bad. I mean, as long as you've got a few of the basics, if you've got to this level, then you're already at the level 6. Obviously, if you've unlocked tier 6, you've got the ability to make these machines, the manufacturer, and all of that kind of stuff. So you're going to have the ability to make them. Now, the train itself, you can see there, takes um, 5 heavy modular, 10 motors, 15 steel pipe, 5 computers, 5 beacons. Oops. Now, the freight car is cheaper. It's heavy modular frame and 10 steel pipes. Now, the train station and the freight platform have to be placed together. So you need to link all your thing up, your rails, and once you've linked that up to your freight terminal and your train station, give it some power, add your train to the tracks, and away you go. And then just obviously remember to automate it if you want it to go automatically between stations, or if it's just for you to go along and press the horn. You're laughing. Um, but yeah, there you go. It's been a long time waiting for that, but to be honest, it's actually pretty cool. It's very well done. I also worked out that originally I was having all the rails on the ground because I couldn't figure out how to get them to raise because there isn't anything underneath them to do it. Maybe they'll be added, I'm not sure. But I figured out that if I just add some foundations underneath these, I used the number 9 there, 8 meter by 4 meter foundation blocks, for instance, or it could be vary anyway. What it meant was, is if I put the flat bit right on the top here in the middle, it placed the rail quite straight, and obviously raised it off the ground. And I did that all the way down there, as you could see when we were driving, when we were on the rail there, to actually give it clearance for other things to get underneath and for me to be able to drive underneath the place. But yeah, so placing them, you'll know from the conveyor belts. It's practically the same way as placing a conveyor belt. It bends around corners and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's actually quite cool. Let's have a look. Did it give us? Yeah, we did. Got another 110, 120 there. But if we had higher production, I mean, it would bring massive amounts of ores back. It would actually be capable of bringing back quite a lot of stuff. So you could, in theory, use the train to bring back a lot of the things that you require in one round trip, instead of having, say, vehicles all over the place or having conveyor belts. Conveyors could be quite time consuming, but so can putting the tracks down. But, once you've got the train in and running, it's actually quite handy because you can basically automate some of your production further away and just bring back the material once it's completed back here on the train. So it's quite good like that. I'm now thinking, once I've unlocked the tier 7 and tier 8, I might actually take this lot apart and start again. Because, I mean, every factory looked really, really good to start with, and then it just went crazy halfway through. Like the vertical conveyors we looked at last time as well. But yeah, I'm thinking of maybe taking it apart and redoing it all again. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll let the got 201 of these to create, so we're nearly there. That'll allow me to unlock the new milestones. Um, and once I've done those, then I'll maybe look at what the reactors are going to cost and maybe start redesigning it all. But anyway, just wanted to show you those two things, the rebar and the train, and we'll go for the nuclear reactor once we've got it unlocked. We'll come back to it. So thanks for watching. Take it easy. Have a good evening or day, or I suppose depending what time you do it of the day that you watch. Anyway, I'm just going to shut up. Good luck.